So most of us think we know the story of Queen Esther, right? The Jewish orphan who becomes a queen and saves her people. But what if I told you there's another version, one with these incredible added scenes of prophetic dreams, gut-wrenching prayers, and direct, undeniable divine intervention that totally transforms the entire story? Today we're going to dive into the dramatic lost scenes of Esther, from a version of the story you'll find in the apocrypha.
You know, the standard story kicks off with a big royal party. Well, not this one. This version starts somewhere way, way darker. It opens with this ominous, frankly terrifying vision from Esther's uncle, Mordecai. We're not talking about court politics here. This is a vision of cosmic conflict, a battle between two great dragons that's about to shake the foundations of the world.
So right from the jump, the stakes are just stratospheric. This isn't just about one guy's personal grudge. Mordecai's dream foreshadows a fight for the actual survival of his people, what he calls the nation of the just, against this powerful, almost supernatural evil.
And you know, it doesn't stay a dream for long. It becomes a terrifying reality, and fast. Haman, the king's top advisor, manages to convince King Artaxerxes to issue an official empire-wide decree to completely annihilate the Jewish people. That prophetic threat, it now has the full weight and power of royal law behind it.
And this really grounds the story. Look, these editions aren't just some old folklore. They are ancient texts. This very page contains the words of that decree, a formal letter that was sent to every single corner of the empire, making the threat horrifically, tangibly real.
I mean, listen to this. The language here is just absolutely bone-chilling. This isn't a suggestion. It is a direct command for a single coordinated day of slaughter. The stated goal is to send an entire people down to Hades in one day, all under the twisted excuse of restoring peace. The cruelty is just, it's stated with this horrifying bureaucratic coldness.
So, how does Haman sell this monstrous plan? Well, he uses the classic propaganda playbook. He paints the Jewish people as this malicious, separate group, a foreign body inside the empire that needs to be cut out. He calls them wicked, disobedient, a threat to stability. It's a textbook case of demonizing a minority to justify unspeakable violence. Faced with this death sentence, the story pivots to Esther, and honestly, this is one of the most powerful changes in this version. See, where the canonical text is totally silent on her inner thoughts, this version gives us this raw, intimate look at her terror and her faith as she turns to God in a moment of just absolute desperation.
She physically strips away everything that makes her a queen. She takes off her expensive clothes, her jewels, her crown, and she completely humbles herself. This act just shows us that beneath that whole royal facade is a terrified woman who understands the crushing weight of what she is about to do.
And when she prays, we get this raw look into her heart. She tells God that she hates her position. She hates the glory of the wicked. She despises being the wife of a pagan king. This isn't some fairy tale queen who's loving her power. For her, life in the palace is a deep and painful sacrifice.
And this next part, wow, it just reveals this deep, deep inner conflict she's feeling. The crown, the very symbol of her status and her power, is something she can't stand. She calls it the sign of my pride and admits she only puts it on in public. The second she's alone, it comes off. It's a burden to her, not a prize.
And her prayer all comes down to this one final plea. She recognizes that God is her people's only hope, and she freely admits her own profound terror. Her final request is maybe the most human and telling of all. Deliver me from my fear. She's not just asking for a win. She's asking for the courage to even show up to the fight.
Okay, so the prayer is done. Now it's time for action. Esther has to go before the king uninvited, an act that was by law punishable by immediate death. This scene, which is pretty brief in the standard version, is blown up here into this moment of unbearable, heart-stopping tension.
So let's break this down, because the scene unfolds with just incredible cinematic tension. First, she walks in, looking like a glorious queen, but secretly terrified. The king sees her, and his face fills with burning anger. The sight of his rage is just too much. She faints, collapsing on the spot. And then, right at that moment of absolute peril, bam! The text says God steps in, instantly changing the king's heart to mildness. The king leaps from his throne, rushes to her side, and saves her life. The turnaround is miraculous, and it is immediate.
And just listen to what he says to her now.
The man who was literally burning with anger seconds ago now speaks with this incredible tenderness. "I am your brother. Do not be afraid." He completely dismisses the law for her. This isn't just a guy changing his mind. The story presents it as a supernatural change of heart.
So, Esther's safe. She spills the beans about Haman's entire evil plot, and the king, now knowing the truth, doesn't just, cancel the old decree. No, he issues a brand new one, this extraordinary public letter to the entire empire that sets the record straight once and for all.
And the reversal is it's stunning. You have to see it side by side. Where Haman called the Jews wicked, the king now calls them children of the Most High God. Where Haman accused them of lawlessness, the king praises them for living by the most just laws. And Haman, once a trusted friend, is exposed as a foreign traitor. It is a complete and total repudiation of every single lie.
And this new decree, it does so much more than just save lives. It restores honor, declaring the Jewish people are completely blameless. It brings absolute justice, ordering the execution of Haman and his entire family. And it ensures this victory is permanent, transforming the day marked for their destruction into a day of celebration forever.
I mean, this quote from the king's new letter says it all, right? The very date that Haman chose for their genocide will now be a festival. The worst day imaginable is officially, by royal decree, transformed into the best. You can't get a more complete victory than that.
And all of this leaves us with this really fascinating question to chew on. In the story most of us know, Esther is a hero of incredible political skill and courage. In this version, her courage is absolutely still there, but it's framed by God's direct help at the most critical moment possible. So it makes you wonder, how does it change the meaning of courage when you believe a higher power will literally step in and save you? It's a powerful thought to end on.